What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 2, Episode 14. And the episode is titled Sanctioned, you guys. So, without further ado, let's get into this episode, shall we? All right, you guys. So, we are going to start the episode up with Marcel, and we're going to talk about him and Tisha. So, you guys remember the episode ended last week with the situation between Martel and Wanda. Now, do I agree with what Wanda did? Absolutely not. Do I agree with what Martel did? Hell no. Martel looked like every bit of a little bitty bitch boy. I also have an issue with Marcel. Now, I know Marcel has issues with Wanda and whatnot, but that is still your mother-in-law, and this dude is literally sitting here in her face. Now, I'm not saying that Marcel was going to hit Wanda, but that's a woman. Like, why are you talking to her like that? But it's Marcel we talking about. So, you guys also remember that Wanda was chasing him behind Melody. And, Tisha was trying to stop her, and, she telling her, like, don't get involved in that, which I agree with that. But then I was like, this is Tisha I'm talking about. Tisha, because I was on Tisha's side for like a hot second, and then I flipped back off of her side. Because, she was talking about, Mel is not innocent. Now, in this situation between Mel and Martel, I've said it before, I'm not on either one of their sides. Because, when Mel found out he was cheating on her the first time, she should have left him instead of getting pregnant the second time. But I'm not going to harp on that. That was Mel's business. And, if Mel wanted to forgive him, she forgave him. But Tisha, like I said, Tisha is just, it's all about teams for Tisha. So, and Destiny. So Destiny was able to calm Martel down. And so then she went to check on Mel. Mel left, and so did Tisha. I mean, not Tisha, but Destiny. So we're back at the table. I don't know what it is with Wanda, but Wanda just, it's like she's just beating a dead horse with a stick, because she kept talking about Martel. And I was thinking to myself the same thing that Kimmy said, or somebody said it. This ain't even about Martel. This is a party for Jalen graduating college. Why are we talking about who Martel slept with, who Martel may have gotten pregnant? Why are we talking about that? This party is for Jalen, not for you. And then Wanda kept talking about the fact that, Kimmy is down with the Holtz. Kimmy is down with who? I think Kimmy is down with Kimmy. And, Wanda, and like I said, Wanda and Tisha do work my nerves when it comes down to this. Because it's like this whole elementary, high school situation where you can't be friends with me if you're friends with my enemy. That's stupid. Really gets on my nerves. So then we later in the episode see that Marcel, he met up with Kimmy to talk about the party. So, he's like, so are you going to ban Wanda? See, Marcel is messy as hell as well. Like, Marcel is messy. Because he's asking if she's going to ban, Wanda from future events. She says, I'm not necessarily banning Wanda from different events. What it is she just don't want her. She's not banning her, but she's not going to go out of her way to invite Wanda to said events. Which with this event, she didn't invite Wanda. Tisha invited Wanda to this event. We're going to talk about that word in just a minute. God, I hate how they say it. And more specifically, Tisha. So Marcel is like, well, I'm going to talk to Tisha, and I'm going to talk to Wanda. And mind you, he does talk to Tisha about it. So, Tisha and Marcel are talking about, Scott Manor. And she's ready to move into Scott Manor now. He says, that's going to be a few years. We're going to be in this house for a few years, babe. And then she's talking about building, she's wanting to build a room, have a room made specifically for her mom. I'm like, oh, God, girl, no. That ain't going to work out. That ain't going to work out. That ain't going to work out. That is not going to work out. Hell, I'm with Marcel. We can build her a little teepee. We can build her a teepee. We can build her a shack. We can build her whatever. Actually, I wouldn't even want her in the same vicinity as me. God, no. So then Marcel goes ahead and tells Tisha that Kimmy said that she's going to sanction Wanda from future events. First of all, she never said she was going to sanction her. She did say she's not going to invite her to future events, but she never once said that she was going to sanction a woman from future events. Tisha really gets on my nerves because she plays this whole tit for tat situation. So she was like, so if Kimmy don't want to invite my mother to her events, then I'm not going to invite her to my events as well. And, I won't go to none of Kimmy's events. It's just like, girl, don't nobody really give a shit, to be quite honest with you. But you know what, though? Since Kimmy and Destiny is coming to the whatever the podcast is called, they're coming to the podcast, me and Kimmy can talk at that point. And then she's still talking about, this relationship with Kimmy. We're going to talk about Tisha in just a minute because I'm going to pause and we're going to continue to talk about Tisha, how stupid she is. Let's pause. All right, you guys. So, like I said, Tisha is having a podcast with Destiny and with Kimmy there. First of all, what the hell was Tisha wearing? That pink eyeshadow over her eyes, that ponytail, and that outfit. She looked like she stepped out of the 1980s. That's what she looked like. So in the podcast, they're talking about, mommies. So we're talking to Destiny about the fact that, she had her baby during the pandemic, and they asked her, like, how was that? Which I have wondered, like, because there have been a lot of women that have had babies in the pandemic. I'm like, that's got to be scary. You're in the hospital at the most joyous time of your life, giving birth to your child, but we're also in a pandemic. And you can't have your family there with you to join in on that occasion, and then you also have to deal with people in the hospital who have COVID. And like I said, you're giving birth to a baby who doesn't have a developed immune system. I know they're in incubation and stuff like that, but it had to be scary. And then she also tells us that she got preeclampsia as well, which damn, she could have died. I'm glad, she's happy and healthy. Here's the question that I tweeted. Where is LeBuick? I know his name is not LeBuick, LeBarrett. Where is he at? Like, is he not on the show anymore? Is it just Destiny by herself? Housewives would never let a woman, but I guess she's a friend of the show. So I guess maybe. So they also talk about, Jalen, he graduated college. And, this wasn't your typical normal graduation because he didn't walk across I don't know if he walked across the stage or not, but, he didn't do the traditional things that happen when you graduate college. And then why did Destiny have to bring up what happened at the party? So now Tisha wants to talk about the party, and she wants to talk about the fact that, Marcel told me that you had sanctioned my mom from future events, Kimmy. And Kimmy was like, I didn't say that. What I did say is that I don't want to, I'm not going to invite Wanda to my events. And then, Tisha's talking about she doesn't want to take responsibility for what Wanda did. But Kimmy, not Kimmy, but Tisha, you got to take responsibility for that because that falls squarely on you. Like, I don't know what world Tisha lives in because it just felt like she's living in a different world than what I'm living in. Because she's talking about the fact that she thought that Kimmy and her mom had made up. Even if you thought that your mom and Kimmy had made up, that still was not your place to invite Wanda to Jalen's party. Unless, unless Kimmy said to you, hey, you and Marcel were invited to Jalen's graduation party and you guys have a +1, that's a different story. But if she didn't say you can bring Wanda, why did you then go and invite Wanda? She's talking about, because, we're family and it's a family event, so I felt it was okay. No. If the person was not specifically asked to come, you were invited to somewhere, don't you then go and invite somebody else that's tacky and that's rude. And then Tisha wants to talk about the fact that Kimmy was rude to Wanda at the party. First of all, it was Kimmy's party. Secondly, like I said before, Wanda wasn't invited. So when Wanda came in, Kimmy was like, "Oh, I guess Marceau and Tisha invited you." And she's talking about that was rude. Well, I mean, it was her party, and she's talking about how Wanda took that when she said that. I was with Kimmy. I don't care how Wanda took it, Tisha. She was not invited. If you're not invited, I don't have to be polite to you about coming crashing my party. I don't have to be like, "Oh, Wanda, it's so nice to see you. Although I didn't invite you, it's really nice to see you." No. I'll be like, "Oh, who invited you?" See, Kimmy was a lot nicer than me. I would be like, "Oh, girl, where did you come from and who invited you?" "Oh, Marceau and Tisha invited me." "Oh, well, they can uninvite you. Can you have your mama, can you tell your mother and mother-in-law that she got to leave, like she wasn't invited here?" And then that's the other thing about it with the party. If this was like an actual party where Kimmy had, cooked food, food catered, and she knew how many people she invited, and she got one extra mouth to feed, and then you'd be like, "Well, I invited my mom. I didn't think it would be a big deal." Girl, I bought enough food for the amount of people that I invited. I can't when it comes to Tisha. I really can't. The girl just don't see reason or rhyme with anything. Let's move on. All right, you guys, and then let's wrap this episode up. I'm just looking at this. We mostly had the two people in this episode who don't know how to take accountability for anything that they've done. So Destiny, we see Destiny, and she is getting ready to have a Halloween party, and she wants to, do a thing about getting out and vote. I'm here for it. So then Martel pulls up on her, and Martel is apologizing to Destiny for what happened at the party. And I'm just like, huh? 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 Shouldn't you be apologizing to Kimmy for what happened? But that's neither here nor there. See, here's my issue now. See, I got a big issue when it comes to Martel. Martel is much like Tisha. Martel, instead of taking accountability and ownership for the things that he's done, he likes to deflect, and he loves to deflect, and he loves to place blame on other people. So he's talking about him and Mel's relationship. Once again, he's talking about the fact that Mel allegedly cheated on him. So much like what I said about Tisha. So because Mel allegedly cheated on you, it was a tit for tat thing. So she cheats on you and then you go cheat on her. That's not how marriage works, but okay. Now here's the other thing with Martel that I did not understand. So Martel feels the need to keep talking about, because he's actually now starting to sound a whole lot like Marceau with this whole role situation in the marriage, because he's talking to Destiny about what the woman's role is and what the man's role is, and she's like, "Okay, well, Martel, what's the man's role?" He's like, "Ask your husband." I'm like, "But you the one that mentioned it, so I'm actually with Destiny." Excuse me, y'all. I'm with Destiny. Like, if you gonna sit here and throw shit out, tell me what's the role of a man and a woman in a marriage. Martel is just, when he realizes he's backed into a corner, that's when he just tries to throw shit at you to see what sticks. Irritating. So then we see Mel, she's with Marcus. So here's the question that I have. So the house that Mel was looking at in the previous episode, wasn't that in Huntsville? So I'm assuming she has a house out there in Atlanta. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. Does she have a house in Atlanta? Because she was talking about the fact that when she had the kids, she met. Did she say Chattanooga? She met Martel, I guess, halfway, and Marcus asked her, how is she and how are the kids dealing with the situation? She's talking about how the kids are adjusting, and she's talking about how with her, she's trying to find her peace. I think the best thing that's going to work for Mel and for her kids with this situation with Martel one, you got to sit down and talk to your kids, explain to them what's going on in a kid-friendly way. And you might have to sit down with the therapist. I think that's going to be the best thing, is for her and the kids to sit down with the therapist. You have therapy with the kids, but at the same time, you have your own therapy. Because I think that's going to be what's best for Mel and the kids going forward, just keeping it real. And she's talking about how co-parenting with Martel is just not going great. Unfortunately, Mel, right now, until the divorce is finalized, co-parenting with Martel is going to be hell. Because Martel is playing a game with you, really and truly. He's playing a game with you. He's trying to get you riled up. That's all he's doing. He's wanting to get you riled up so that he can say, oh, look at, and if he gets it on camera, even better, because that way he can use that in court to say, this is why I deserve, at least, if he's not going, well, he said he's going for full custody. So yeah, Mel, number one thing for you, Mel, don't give in to what he wants. He's goading you. Don't give in to it, because he's trying to gain ammunition on you to use it against you in court. So don't play into his game. Please don't. So then, Mel is telling Marcus that, Martel told the kids that, Marcus likes boys. And, she's talking about she went off on him. So Marcus is like, well, you know what? He wants to talk to him. So, because she asked him to go to Destiny's party. The funny thing is, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But here's the thing that I was thinking about when I heard this whole conversation about Marcus and his husband. I was like, why would Martel bring that up? And then I thought about it. I'm like, I think, now you guys can agree, disagree. It's whatever. I'm not, I don't care if you guys agree with me or not. But I get the vibe that Martel, I know he's supposed to be with that girl, whatever her name is, Ariane, whatever her name is. But I also get the vibe that Martel is a little bit, in the closet. That's just my take. I feel like Martel might be a little bit bisexual. I'm not saying he's gay, but I think he might be bisexual. But that's just my personal opinion. Again, you guys can agree, disagree. It is what it is. So let's move on. So then we get to the party. So we see Sadarik. He's there. We see Marceau, and we see Martel dressed as a pharaoh. I'm like, oh, you want to wear a skirt, huh? You just playing into what I just said, huh? And then, they talking about going on the camping trip. So they going to go when Martel doesn't have the kids. So then who shows up? Marcus. And what is Marcus wearing? The same outfit as Martel. So then Martel and Marcus go to the side and talk. And, Marcus is asking Martel how things are with him and Melody. And Martel is really flippant in this situation. I really wanted Marcus just to knock that smug look off his face. So then Marcus tells him, that the kids asked his husband, I think he said his name is Tony, if he would be the kid's new daddy. And Martel's like, don't you ever say that shit in my face. I'll beat your motherfucking ass. I'm like, Martel, if you were gonna beat his ass, you had nothing but space and opportunity to beat Marcus up. Marcus said, all you're gonna do is walk your bitch ass away, and it's exactly what he did. Because I'm sitting here, Martel is just getting all puffed up in the chest and talking about what he gonna do to Marcus, and I'm like, but Marcus is literally right there in your face. If you really want to get there, if you really want to, square up with Marcus, you don't have security by you, so you got space and opportunity to hit his ass. Martel ain't nothing but a little biatch. But that's the review, you guys. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Be sure to like this video. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. And share this video and into the next one, you guys. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, to wear your mask, and to socially distance. And subscribe to the Planner channel. Link is in the description bar. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.